You're listening to a production of the National Media Archive. To learn more or volunteer, go to nationalmediaarchive.com.
Have you ever set an ambitious goal, maybe writing a novel, running a marathon, or starting a side hustle only to feel paralyzed when it comes to actually starting? If so, you're not alone. Goal setting is exhilarating. You get that burst of motivation, maybe even buy a new planner or download a tracking app. But then reality hits. Without a daily plan, those goals quickly slip into the background, lost in the chaos of daily life. This is where the concept of implementation intention comes in. It's a technical term, but basically, it means having a concrete plan for when, where, and how you'll act. Without this structure, goals are just wishful thinking. So why do we get stuck? Because turning goals into reality requires consistent, sometimes monotonous habits. Now, you might be thinking, isn't it enough to just want it badly? The answer is no. Desire is the spark, but habits are the fuel. Let me tell you a quick story years ago. I set a goal to learn guitar. I imagined playing songs at parties, but I never scheduled practice. Months went by, and guess what? No progress. So, before we even talk about systems and routines, recognize this. Success isn't about setting bigger goals, it's about building better habits. And today, we're diving deep into how you can do exactly that. Ready to move from dreaming to doing? Let's break down the 5 steps to transform your goals into daily habits you actually stick with. Here's the first shift. Instead of treating your goal as a massive, intimidating mountain, break it down into a project made of bite-sized steps. The technical term for this is task decomposition, and it's exactly what elite athletes and top performers use to make progress inevitable. Let's get specific. Imagine your goal is to run the New York City Marathon in November. That's not just one task. It's a series of milestones and micro goals, each with clear actions. You'll need to register, develop a training plan, book travel, and more. Suddenly, the impossible looks manageable. Now you might say, but isn't this overcomplicating things? Actually, the opposite is true. By mapping out the project, you reduce overwhelm and create momentum. It's like building lagoon brick at a time, not all at once. Think back to any big achievement in your life. Didn't it come down to a series of small, repeatable actions? That's the magic of turning your goal into a project. You transform a vague dream into a step-by-step blueprint. So, grab a notebook or your favorite project management app and start listing the key milestones. This is the foundation for everything that follows. Okay, so you've got your project list. But how do you make sure you're moving at the right pace? Here's where reverse engineering comes in a process borrowed from engineers and planners. It means starting with your goal's due date and working backward to schedule every key action. Let's return to the marathon example. The race is in November. Registration opens in April, training peaks in October. When you map these backward, you reveal when each step must happen. This is called creating a critical path, a term used in project management to highlight essential tasks and deadlines. Now you might wonder, won't this add pressure? Actually, clarity reduces stress. When you know exactly what's next, procrastination fades. As the saying goes, a deadline turns a wish into a plan. I've seen this work wonders. For a big writing project, I mapped out drafts, edits, and submission dates. Suddenly, progress became automatic. Reverse engineering isn't just for engineers, it's a secret weapon for personal growth. So look at your project list. What's the end date? Work backward, and you'll see exactly what needs to happen and when. Let's talk about time. Have you ever said, I'll work on my goal when I find the time? Spoiler alert, you almost never do. The truth is, time management isn't about squeezing tasks into leftover moments. It's about time blocking, the deliberate act of reserving non-negotiable slots in your calendar for your most important actions. Think about it. If you had an important doctor's appointment, you'd schedule it. You wouldn't just hope to remember. Your goals deserve the same respect. Time blocking and priority scheduling, these are the technical terms can transform wishful thinking into action. Now, you might be thinking, but my days are already packed. Fair point. But what if you scheduled just 30 minutes a day for your goal, as consistently as brushing your teeth? The compound effect over weeks and months is massive. Let me tell you a quick story. When I trained for my first tank, I blocked off mornings for runs no matter what. The result? 0 skipped workouts. Scheduling isn't about rigidity, it's about making your dreams part of your daily reality. So open your calendar now. Where can you block time for your most important project? Make it as non-negotiable as any other appointment. Now, let's get real. Motivation will fade. That's why you need the power of habit stacking, a behavioral science concept that means linking your new habit to something you already do automatically. This makes consistency almost effortless. For example, if you always have coffee at 7 a.m., why not do your writing or workout right after? Over time, the brain creates a cue routine reward loop, technical terms, for the neurological process that makes habits hard to break. You might be thinking, is it really that simple? Yes and no. The setup is easy, but the early days can feel awkward. That's normal. The key is to keep the routine the same, even if your motivation wavers. Let me share. I struggled to meditate daily until I paired it with brushing my teeth. Now, missing it feels as odd as forgetting to brush. So, what's one daily anchor you can link your new habit to? This is the secret sauce for making change automatic. Distraction is the enemy of progress. Ever started your day with email and found yourself sidetracked for hours? Here's the fix. Identify your one thing, the high-leverage task that moves your goal forward, and do it first. This is known as the priority principle in productivity science. Let's say you're training for a marathon. Your morning run is the one thing that matters. Everything else, email, errands, social media, can wait. This is called front-loading your day, a technical term for tackling your hardest or most valuable work before distractions hit. Now you might say, but I'm not a morning person. That's okay, the key is consistency. If your best energy is at noon, make that your sacred time. The point is to put your goal first, not last. Let me tell you, the days I front-load my critical task, I end with a sense of accomplishment no matter what else happens. So, tomorrow, before you check your phone, what's the one thing you can do for your goal? Make it your morning ritual. Let's face it, life is full of distractions, emails, phone pings, endless to-dos. The secret to staying focused is task batching, a productivity hack where you group similar tasks together and handle them in designated blocks. It's like assembly line efficiency for your brain. This technique is rooted in context switching theory, a technical term describing the mental cost of jumping between tasks. Every switch drains focus and energy, making it harder to work on what matters. Now you might be thinking, but my job is unpredictable. True, but everyone can batch something like setting aside 30 minutes just for emails or errands. Let me share. When I started batching my admin tasks, I reclaimed hours each week for deep work on my real goals. So, what low-value tasks can you bundle together? Free up your best energy for the habits that drive your biggest results. Here's something most people miss. What gets measured gets managed. That's not just a cliche, it's called quantitative feedback, and it's essential for habit formation. If you want to see progress, you need to track it. Whether it's word counts for writing, miles run, or days meditated, these metrics act like a scoreboard. In psychology, this is called self-monitoring. It gives your brain a clear signal. You're moving forward. Now, you might wonder, isn't tracking tedious? Sometimes, but even simple tallies or check marks can trigger the reward center in your brain, making you want to keep the streak alive. Personally, using a habit tracker totally changed my consistency. Miss a day? The visual cue kept me honest. So, how will you track your number one habit this week? Choose a system app, spreadsheet, or even paper, but make your progress visible. Let's talk about tools. There are thousands of habit trackers and project management apps. So do you choose? Start with the basics. You want something that lets you set recurring tasks and visualize streaks. In tech terms, look for automation and data visualization features. For example, Todoist lets you manage both projects and daily habits in one place. You can schedule tasks, check off completions, and even analyze your productivity trends. No spreadsheet required. Now, some of you may be thinking, I prefer simple solutions. Good news, a printable habit tracker works just as well. The key isn't the tool, it's the daily use. For me, digital tools removed friction, but for others, the act of physically checking a box is the trigger. Experiment until you find what sticks. At the end of this episode, I'll share a few free resources you can download to kickstart your system, so stay tuned. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You will miss days, you'll slip, get off track, maybe even feel like giving up. That's normal. What matters isn't perfection, it's habit, resilience, or your ability to bounce back quickly after a setback. This concept of minimum viable effort doing the smallest possible action to keep your habit alive can save your streak. Can't run 5 miles? Walk for 5 minutes. Can't write a page? Jot down a sentence. You might be thinking, doesn't that feel like cheating? Not at all. The real win is keeping the momentum, not the intensity. Small wins lead to big results. Let me tell you, every major goal I've ever achieved came from stringing together dozens of imperfect days, not a single stretch of perfect ones. So, next time you stumble, don't beat yourself up. Reset. Start again the next day. Progress is built on persistence, not perfection. Ready to turn your biggest goals into unbreakable habits? Here's your action step. Pick one goal, break it down using the steps we covered, and schedule your first action today. Progress is about starting, not waiting for the perfect moment. To help you kick off, I've linked a free printable habit tracker in the show notes. You'll also find my guide to the 15 best habit tracking apps so you can find your perfect fit, whether you're a digital native or a pen and paper fan. Now, you might be thinking, can I really do this? Absolutely. Every big change starts with one small repeated action. The tools are just there to support your commitment. If you want a deeper dive into goal-setting frameworks, check out my episode on SMART goals and see 21 examples in action. And if you found this helpful, please take 5 seconds to hit the like button. It really helps us reach more people who want to grow. Remember, you're not just setting goals, you're building the habits and the life that will achieve them. Start today and let's grow together.